Marketing is harder today than it has ever been. It's harder today than it was yesterday. It'll be harder still tomorrow because there's that much more competition for attention. So how do you succeed in that environment? How do you succeed in an environment where literally there's been more than 3 million tweets sent since I started talking? How do you succeed in that? It's crazy. If you create utility, if you genuinely create marketing so useful that people would pay for it, your customers and prospective customers will keep you close, the same way they keep their friends and family members close, which means they go to your website and they bookmark it and they follow you on Facebook and Twitter and they get your emails and they don't unsubscribe and they buy cars from you and they tell their friends and they come back for service. All of the things that you're trying to accomplish will happen if you focus on being useful and you give it time to work. Now, many of you have probably heard the saying in the past that your customers do not want to see the sausage being made, right? People are familiar with that saying. It's a pretty common saying. It's been around a long time. And the reason it's been around so long is that it has been manifestly true for decades. People don't really care how their car works. They just want their car to work. They don't care how their bread gets made. They just want to buy bread. But that's not as true as it once was. If you think about consumer behavior now, people want to know the details in ways that they didn't not that long ago. Smartphone penetration in Canada is now 56%, meaning that the majority of your customers, and for some of you depending on your brands, the overwhelming majority of your customers have access to all the world's information at all times in their pants. And they're using it. So today, if you make a bad decision, bad car, bad hotel, bad chicken sandwich, bad sweater, bad whatever, you're just lazy because all the information you need to make a good decision is literally in the palm of your hand. The truth always comes out. Always comes out. So what smart companies are doing is saying, well, look, if the truth's always going to come out, why don't we just kind of get out in front of that? Why don't we just be radically transparent? And it makes a lot of sense because trust is the prism through which all business success must pass. Without trust, none of this matters. Without trust, marketing doesn't matter. Without trust, sales doesn't matter. Without trust, price doesn't matter. Service doesn't matter. Brand doesn't matter. Without trust, none of it matters. Especially in a business like yours, where you're talking about serious dollars invested on the part of most of your customers. One of the issues I have with your industry is that everybody here sells the greatest car and truck ever built. And everybody in here but one person is a liar, right? It's not all good. Sometimes by acknowledging that, you know what? There's different horses for different courses, you actually gain trust that benefits you in the end. Utility can transcend the transaction. You have to give yourself permission to make the story bigger. Right? Autodome is talking about daily inspirational sayings, not cars. The problem with most auto dealer marketing is about autos. Right? Find a way to market sideways instead of head on, head on, head on, head on, head on. So how do you do this? How do you create utility? There's a lot more detail in my book than I can share with you today, but I'll hit some of the high points to kind of frame this up for you, okay? The first thing is, what do people need? If the whole point of this is to create marketing so useful that people would actually pay for it, you've got to have a really good handle on what people actually value. And that requires you understanding your customers probably better than you understand them today. We have more data than ever. We have more reports and spreadsheets and APIs and press this button. We have all this magic. But almost all of that, by definition, forces you to think of your customers as a number. And so you've got to make sure that you're having real conversations with your customers. The good news is that you're in a business that has a lot of customer input, right? You actually talk to customers, you see them, whether it's on the lot or on the phone or via email, you actually have that capability. One thing I will caution you about though, is make sure that your marketing people are talking to customers too, not just sales.